Let's just get a double check from our various viewers if they're still online and they're still hanging out to catch up with us. Yep, we just appeared on screen over there. Woot woot. Oh, well, that was very frustrating. So there's the lesson, people, is that if you're streaming in the future, if you ever decide to do a D&D stream, you're going to be very frustrated and it might drive you crazy. It's quite possible. Anyway, our intrepid heroes are on their carts and horses travelling through the city of Vaingate from the Barakyle envoy in Carcanos northward not so far to the palatial district beneath Ludovar. And the clippity-cloppity of horses and such, and their fancy dress, their plumes and what have you, their very fine dressage, I believe that's the right term, correct me if I'm wrong, and they get to the palatial district and travel up a very large, wide lane, surrounded by fountains and pillars and statues of previous emperors and kings and lords and heroes and so on and so forth, until they get to the actual palace itself, the Palace of Moldrea, whereby they are greeted by various footmen and guards who open the gates of their of the palace and then proceed to allow them to pull their carts and horses right up to the front steps. Then your cart, which I'm assuming your carriage has doors, yeah? Yes. I would say so. That seems to be appropriate. They open up the doors and allow you to pop out onto the steps out the front. What are you guys doing at this point? You talking to each other, or are you all silent?
Leith is a little bit nervous about the prospect of meeting a queen, so he's kind of just like following everybody else.
I wait for a page or somebody related to, somebody who's working for the Queen to tell us which way to go.
All right. Anyone else?
I was just quite curious about meeting a human queen.
Okay.
I turn to Leith and I say, Leith, you seem a little bit nervous right now.
This is something I'm just a little bit. I've never experienced before. I've never met royalty, so I feel that I might put my foot in it or something, and I just want to make sure I make a good impression.
Two things to remember when meeting royalty.
Oh.
Number one, or anyone of noble lineage, number one, they're just regular people, Leith. They're just regular people born into a very shitty job. They don't enjoy it, I can guarantee you that.
Oh.
They don't enjoy it.
Oh.
Unless you're crazy, which brings you to point number two. There is a 50-50 chance that the queen we're meeting in there is absolute batshit crazy. So just keep that in mind. So either she's a completely normal person and you don't need to fear, or she's completely bonkers. Just keep those in mind, but generally I think we'll be okay if you yes, and then I give him a pat on the shoulder.
I think I'll hang back a little bit, but I'll do my best.
All right.
That sounds like a good plan.
Leith, as you're having this conversation, you have this sense of this dark force approaching you from behind. Basically this building up of shadowy energy just behind your head, surrounding your peripheral vision. And you can hear this clippity-clop as something approaches you, and you feel this breath on the side of your head, across your face. Ah, Mistralath. Ah, you approach the halls of power.
Yes, I'm not quite sure how to carry myself, but Mr. Monkoff has been helping me to understand.
Keep your eyes open. Understand. This meeting may influence the destiny of this world.
Thank you, sir. Oh.
You
When these visions happen, does Steve speak out? Sorry, does Leith speak out loud, or is it all in his head?
Yes, you hear him saying the words out loud, but you don't hear anything like talking to him.
Leaf,
And he's clutching his head as he does that.
Leaf, are you with us now?
Yes, Milford. I just I was just I'll give Milford like a look as if like
I know. Relax now. Just relax and be yourself. Except don't talk so much.
I'm fine.
Okay.
One of the very well-dressed courtesans crosses over to you and says, "May I be of some assistance, my lords and lady?"
Hey, could I'm still standing on top of the carriage. Could I get maybe a stepladder and potentially a valet to take care of the horses?
She looks at you a little bit confused. Yes, the horses will be well kept and cared for, and will be awaiting your presence here when and she smiles, and if you return. She seems to know something that maybe you don't. As for a stepladder, my lord?
Well,
what on earth for?
Standing. I'm not particularly large, and I prefer not to fall and bust my ankles. I'm sure you understand.
From where to where do you wish to?
From the top. Because somehow I'm imagining the caravan it's one of those like Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella. So like the where I'm sitting is relatively high.
Right. Very well. And she turns and goes and organizes this very quickly. And it is only a few minutes before they return with a step ladder to get you down. And this courtesan rushes over and places the step ladder on the side of the carriage. My lord.
Too kind. Thank you.
Meanwhile, while that's all going on, what are you guys doing while Adric's waiting for his step ladder?
Goodale's sort of made herself a bit closer to Leith, and she's sort of tried to take his arm and make him feel like she wants to, what's the word? She wants to give him some support, but make it look like he's being a gentleman.
Right.
And Leith will immediately react to that and be like, "Oh, yes." But super awkward.
Okay. All right. So, Milford, what are you doing during this whole process?
I'd go to that posh person, the one that organising thing, and I say, "Please excuse my lord's man. He's not used to these kind of occasions. These papers may help, however." And I give him the papers that thing gave us.
She passes them to her assistant, and her assistant rushes them inside. And momentarily, you are all whisked off up the stairs and into the outer court, where there is in fact a waiting room and a number of guards standing about with halberds and what have you. There's huge 2-floor high standards hanging from the walls, huge statues and what have you all over the place, archways and such like. You're kept here for a few minutes, and they offer you a drink if you wish it. Edrin, would you like a drink of port or wine or anything?
I'll take whatever is going.
All right. Would you like to make a Constitution saving throw?
Oh yes, this will be my drink. I can't do it on there because my computer dislikes for some reason that. So I'll do it on here.
All right. Make your Constitution saving throw. Oh, and it's a mighty 10.
Best of the morning.
10.
Okay, it's one of those drinks where Holy Knight of the Keyboard says, drinking the royal ketamine, tisk tisk. It's one of those morning drinks that you have on a fairly empty stomach that hits your gut and goes poof. And it actually kind of hurts for a moment. You sort of feel a bit of pain there, and you feel the night's wind suddenly becomes apparent to you, and you have this need to perform bodily functions that are encroaching on your ability to conduct yourself at present.
Very good.
All right. So at that point, one of the other servants comes in and says, "My lords, lady, Queen Claresca of Scartabel should presently wish to meet with you. Are you prepared?"
I suppose so.
And I elbow our lord.
Which one is your lord, by the way, just so that I'm clear? That is Leith?
Edrin.
Leith or Edrin? Edrin. Okay, Edrin is your
I
lord.
elbow
Okay.
Edrin.
Sorry.
All right.
I take a bit of water if there's any around.
Yep.
I go, yes. I think we're quite ready to meet Her Majesty.
Very well. One moment, please. So you have another couple of moments before they draw you forward. I'm just looking up a document. Just give me 2 seconds.
Been in court for quite some time, so I'm a little bit stale with my so-ons and so forths.
All right. They take you forward to this court, this actual throne room, and it's a huge room, and there's courtesans down both sides sitting on chairs, and they're observing you, men and women of various houses. There's candles up on the walls behind them, and torches and sconces about the place. The cobblestones beneath your feet are huge flagstones made of marble of various and different types of inlay, very expensive. And you approach the throne, and upon the throne itself you cannot make out a figure, for it is currently veiled. There is two big sheets of sheen, is that the word? Material between you and sheer. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm still recovering from the nightmare camera issues that we had a few minutes ago, and thus my brain is still firing multiple nodes in different directions, and I will settle back down again in a minute. I should probably take a deep breath.
We got the pleasure of witnessing psychic damage happen in real life.
You did. That was psychic damage. All right. Okay. So, as you were brought before this sheer material that is hanging before the throne itself, the courtesan nearest to you comes forth and holds forth a banner, and she says, "In the name of Her Royal Highness, Queen Claresca of Scartabel, Empress of the Northern Sky Reaches, Supreme Regent of the lands of Muldrea, and the Sovereign of the kingdoms of Thrain, Belcanard, and Gwil, and by the ordinance of the Council of High Wardens, I present to you Her Majesty." And the sheer curtains pull back suddenly, and there is this little girl sitting on the throne in front of you. And she leans forward and looks at you, and she says, "I am Queen Claresca of Scartabel."
I'll turn to Goodale and go, "But she's,
"And I am 9 years old." She looks at you quite impetuously.
And I bow.
Udale drops a curtsy.
Papa.
Oh,
Bow.
right, yes, of course.
I take one knee and bow.
"Savarond, who are these people?" she says to one of her men to the side, an advisor, you assume. And this fellow steps forward and he says, According to these papers, I believe this is one Milford Brixton. Leith Mistralath points at you. Gooddale Dalatalandarin of the Elves and of the Order of the Daughters of Twilight. Here is Lord Edrin Montcoff. He actually delivers your full titles, Edrin. What are your full titles again?
Baron Edrin Stywell Krilinovich Montcoff of Gerstadt, holder of the Stretch.
Right. So he delivers that entire speech. And then he turns to Adric Fodgar. And one Adric Fodgar of Banakaya.
Pardon me, Lord. Fodgar, thank you.
And she looks forward at you. She looks quite regal despite her young age. And she says, "Now, do you know why you're here?"
About the Lord again?
Yes, Your Majesty. We are aware of some interactions between agents of Her Majesty, Your Majesty, and the envoy that we are currently employed and contracted under.
So you are here from the Barakyle envoy, is that correct?
Yes, it is, Your Majesty.
And you serve them in a direct capacity, is that also correct?
As direct as an independent contractor can be, we are not necessarily employees as we are on their general payroll. But I suppose yes.
Do I sense that you are trying to distance yourself from the Barakyle envoy in the way and manner of your speech, Lord Edrin Montcoff?
Not distance, simply that I don't think we're not traditional employees. We're not
You're not
ones
wizards.
specifically paid. I am, but the others are not. They have a much more variety of talents.
So what then is your business with the Barakyle envoy?
Research. Mr. Fogdar here is a giant expert.
He doesn't look very
and
giant
that
to me.
is
In fact, he looks very small of stature, if one was to ask me. Hardly a giant expert at all. She laughs to herself, and her man, Saravond, kind of makes a point of laughing as well, but he doesn't seem to be really getting the joke.
Edric smiles and just very, very mischievously, and I'm going to do my giant's might thing. 10 feet tall.
Okay, so Adric just transforms into a giant, and Queen Claresca stands up suddenly. "What is this? How dare you do this in front of me? Who do you think you are?
I beg your pardon, miss.
What is this display? Are you trying to impress me or something?"
Simply trying to amuse you, miss.
Amuse me? I'm not amused.
Well, you commented on my stature, on my stature for my giant knowledge, and I simply wanted to show you that there's a bit more than that.
She
One of
looks
the
at
many
you.
facets of this multi-talented man.
She stares daggers at you for a long moment, and then she says, "If it is my will to paint your stature as small, then I shall do so as I see fit. It is not your place to show me that I am wrong or otherwise of any form of incompetence. Do you understand, little man?"
He smiles down at her. Absolutely.
"I should have you return immediately to your smaller size."
He does so, as you wish.
Oh, that reminds me. Obviously we come bearing gifts.
Adric,
I pull out.
sorry, Adric, can you just make an insight check for me while Edrin continues?
Absolutely.
Pull up the elven wine. And I say,
Bye.
a lovely elven vintage.
Are you jesting at me, Lord Edrin Montcoff, at my age and my inability to drink such things?
Not at all, Your Highness. I simply think that, one, were you truly wanting to, I see no reason why you could not. But secondly, a good gift to look forward to upon your coming of age, and something I hope you will enjoy as
Approach.
alcohol. Alcohol does.
I said
age well,
approach,
and I hope-
Lord Edrin.
Approach. I approach, and I hand her the bottle. Or whoever's going to take the bottle.
Severond intercepts you and takes the bottle and passes it to her. And she reads the label. Alvin, I see. Are you an elf?
No, but have somewhat good relations with a very fine elven man.
That sounds suspicious, she says. She passes the bottle back to Severond, who retires, sort of bowing and moving back away from her at the same time.
Just a man who likes brewing alcohol and collecting alcohol, and I must say I'm a good friend of his. I think we are good drinking buddies.
My, we do keep good company here in this court, I see. Yes, I've certainly invited in some high society, she says, looking around at her various entourage and people, and they all laugh and clap like a bunch of sycophants that they are. Oh, very good, Queen Karaska. Yes, very good, thank you. And you, and she turns to you, Goodale, you are an elf, are you not?
Indeed I am.
And a high elf, I would say. Just.
That's true.
And are you from Hemeth Tirith?
Am I from North That's Highbrook, right?
That's right.
Highbrook, right?
That is Highbrook, yes. And she's using
Yes, I am.
So she's using the elven name of Highbrook. So she's trying to sound like she's educated.
Ah, yes, yes. Indeed, Your Majesty, I am.
I see. And you are a member of the Daughters of Twilight too.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Well, it seems we do have some fine company here, despite the rest of you. Or mind you, who is this one here? And she looks at Milford. And what's your name? That was Lord Milford Brixton, Your Majesty, says Severond. Please approach, Mr. Brixton.
As Milford walks past, Leith is going to say, I didn't know you were a lord.
He does as he's commanded.
Very well. So, Mr. Brixton, how did you find yourself among this rabble?
I am a specialist in finding things, my queen.
In finding things? Oh, very good. Well, perhaps you would be of service to me. Only this morning I did lose a cotton ball. Perhaps you'll find that for me in my den.
It would honor me, my queen. It would honor me indeed.
Oh, well, we shall see. And you must be the one, she looks down at the paper that her man gave her, Leith Mistralath?
Yes, your Highness?
Another elf, I see.
Yes.
She says, may you approach, Mr. Mistralath? You are a Mr., I assume, not a lord or a king or some other...
No, I have no titles. I guess I am just a mister in this land. Yes.
I see. And so what is your place in this particular project that I'm hearing about?
I have been assisting Mr. Brixton.
Assisting Mr.
Lord Brixton, I believe.
Lord Brixton, you've been assisting him, I see. And in what capacity do you assist Lord Brixton?
I help him with his endeavours and I'll look to Milford and make like a big help me eyes.
He helps me. Forgive me, my queen. He is nervous at your beauty and your presence. I'm sure you understand.
Mr. Brixton, would you like to make a persuasion check, please?
Persuasion, the one thing I hate in the universe, and he gets me to roll it. Why does he do this to me?
Because I know how much you love it so much. That's
Come
why.
on, 14.
14, all right. She smiles at you, Milford, actually. And she says, very well. So the 5 of you have found yourselves in the company of the Wizards of Barrackyle, and you're working for them of present, yes? That is my understanding?
Aye.
And what exactly are the Wizards of Barrackyle doing in my city, beneath the earth, digging about among the ruins of the giants?
Archaeological research.
So it has come to my attention that there is in fact a graveyard belonging to the giants that lived here so many centuries before the city was built, before even the humans came to this world. And your employers are digging about among the giant ruins. Is that correct?
Aye, that is true. We were brought on shortly after they discovered the presence of the giants.
I see. And the Wizards of Barrackyle, in fact, closed a whole section of my city beneath my nose so that they may do such. This I am not exceptionally pleased with, she says. Do you have anything to say for that, or to that?
No, I imagine you wouldn't be pleased, Your Majesty.
May I ask also, why is it that they sent you 5, what did you say you were, essentially mercenaries?
Contractors.
Contractors.
We're simply there to dig and learn.
So the Barrackyle envoy did not even come on their own terms. They sent you. These cowards.
They seem to trust us to some degree, which I take great honour in.
I see. And what is it that they expected you to do while you were here, Mr. Adric Fogdar?
Regale to you on our mission and just assure you that it's all in the sake of knowledge. And hopefully we'll find something brilliant for your city and you, Your Majesty.
I'm to understand that there are 2 dig sites currently underway. One of them has a number of giant ruins that have been found, including such things as an annum strike, which I'm told is a very large coin indeed.
A very recent coin. There's not, as far as I'm aware, there's not been much. I've mostly been translating and just offering my insight into the giants.
I've heard word that there was found treasures underneath this city.
From whom, Your Majesty? I don't think any of us are aware of treasure, beyond that on strike, of course.
Truly, not aware of any treasure. And so what is it that the Wizards of Barrackyle are paying you for exactly?
My expertise and, well, my assistance.
I see. And what of you, Leith Mistralath? What do they pay you for?
I'm a trusted associate of Lord Brixton.
So you are his assistant? Is that?
For all intents and purposes, yes.
I see. She turns back to Idrin. And you, a wizard in your own right, you are working among the Wizards of Barrackyle, and they've employed you to assist them with this too. It seems to me that you seem like an unlikely lot. There must be some explanation for all of this. And a daughter of Twilight, also very odd. Perhaps, Goodale, you have...
Her Majesty is very perceptive. I happened upon this band of men by chance, and I have chosen to stay with them as they do seem to be a good lot, and I am hoping to find be of some assistance to them.
To be of some assistance to them, and they are of a good lot, you say.
I believe so.
I'm beginning to feel like you, Five, are hiding something from me, and I don't like it one little bit. She starts to get a little bit impertinent now.
Your Majesty.
What is it that you're
speak?
keeping from me? Because I do not believe your story. Not one bit. Something is going on here. My own people have investigated these dig sites, as you call them, and we know that there's an entrance into the Underdark in the very city that we all live in, and you have been keeping it from us. We know that you've found some sort of treasure.
Your Majesty, may I speak?
You'd best speak quickly.
Perhaps if this room was not so crowded, and it was just you and your man and us, we could speak more freely. I ask this of you, Your Majesty.
You are asking to speak with me, the Queen, in private. Is that what you were just saying to me, Milford Brixton?
If Your Majesty would allow it.
Would you like to make another persuasion check?
Of course, with my companions here, if possible.
Do any of you say anything that might be considered the help action?
I beg your pardon?
I got 18.
Oh, you've got 18. Oh, you don't need the help action. Very good. She looks at you for a long moment and she says, "Very well, Mr. Brixton, you have swayed me." She flicks her hands in the direction of her entourage and they immediately begin to scatter, and the whole court basically just march out through the front door, and they close the doors behind them, and you find yourselves in the throne room. It's silent. There are still guards here with helmets on, but overall all of the courtiers have disappeared.
Your Majesty, may I show you something in confidence?
She leans forward. "And what might you show me, Mr. Brixton, in confidence?"
This piece of paper.
Piece of paper. What is it?
I show her my lineage.
You pass that over to her,
Yeah.
and she examines it. She looks at you for a long moment. She says, "And you can prove this? I mean, it does have the seals, I believe. I mean, I will have to have this looked at, but I'm not sure this is relevant, however. Your lineage,
I had the ring,
you have a signet ring.
but I am trying to prove that I am worthy to speak to you."
She looks at you again for another long moment, and this tension passes around the room. And she says,
he passes over a ring.
her man who is still here, one of the few that is still here, Savarond, takes the ring and brings it up so that she can see it on the throne. And she examines it. "You have a signet ring of the House of Erethani, I am told."
You're told correctly.
"So that is to suggest that you are one of the cousins of the king of Sidari Al-Tularathion, is that correct?"
And he almost dies because they can hear it. Yes, my lady, and I'm wanted. So I'm sharing a big secret with you. My life depends, that nobody knows but you and the people in this room.
She passes the ring back to her fellow, and he takes it back to you. And what does this prove, Mr. Brixton? Should I say Lord Brixton? What does this prove? Does this prove anything at all to do with the question at hand as to what is the Barakyle envoy?
Yes, it does. It proves that by my honour, what we tell you is true.
Okay, you can make another persuasion check.
Okay, these I had on. Jeez.
You're the one that's doing the persuading here.
I'm
Yeah, I
trying to think about how I
know.
can
Anybody want to take my
Yeah.
place?
Leith is too kind of petrified to offer too much up.
No, sex.
It's a perception. That doesn't really matter, I guess.
Did you roll a perception check? I think you better roll an actual persuasion check.
Oh, sorry. I thought I rolled persuasion. Sorry.
This is your new gambit, isn't it?
Persuasion.
He's like, oh, I rolled a perception
it's
check.
the one
Oh,
there.
well, it was an 18. Oh, we'll let it pass.
That's perception.
Another.
That's it there, isn't it?
I can't see it. You'll have to roll it.
I think it's a
Yep, that's persuasion, and it is a 16. All right,
Thank God.
we'll give you that one. Next time, Milford Brixton, next time. She smiles to you and she says, very well, Lord Brixton. I shall take it upon your honour that what you tell me then is the truth. Now then, tell me what is the truth, because I am dying to know what is under the city. And if you can tell me, I will pay you.
Let's go.
Can Goodale cast a cantrip at this moment?
You can. What cantrip are you going to cast?
I would like to send a message to Mr. Brixton.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
Okay.
All right. What is the message?
Mr. Brixton, are you sure you want to stake your reputation on this? I'm not sure that. Well, I quite like this queen.
That's why nobody can hear what I say back to her.
That's correct. It is a secret.
I like her too, and we need her on our side. Because we don't know how much she knows, and she can have our heads in about 10 seconds flat.
Okay, well, just be careful.
Believe me, I know the risk I take. Yes, there's gold, my queen.
How much gold? How many chests of gold do you suspect are down there, Mr. Brixton? And have you seen them with your own eyes?
I have seen a boat full of gold.
A boat full of gold?
Yes.
How big is this boat, Mr. Brixton? What kind of a boat?
Giant size, my queen.
You are saying to your majesty that there is in fact a giant boat piled high full of gold beneath the city of Vaingate presently?
Yes.
Beneath our feet? A giant
Yes.
boat full of gold?
Yes.
And how could that be so without someone having found it and taken it already? Surely it's been discovered.
Someone has found it.
And who might that be? The wizards of the Barakyle envoy?
You show your intelligence, my queen.
I'm not quite sure I like your tone, Mr. Brixton.
There is no tone intended, my queen. I would never use a tone in your presence, purposely.
I see. And what do you suggest that I should do about this?
I suggest you let us do our job so that we can find out even more information for you.
I see. I will tell you what you will do, Mr. Brixton, and all of you. And she looks around at each of you, and she says, "You work for me now." She says, "You will return to the Barakyle Envoy, and when you are done there, you will bring back every piece of information that you have to me."
Absolutely, my queen.
I should have everything that they are trying to take from underneath my feet, out from under our rug. How dare they come to my city and attempt to steal our possessions, our heritage from beneath our feet.
This is why we had to come to you under this guise. We needed you to know what was going on.
It seems to me, Mr. Brixton, that you came to us because they sent you, because my guards entered their envoy this morning.
That too, but we used it as a good opportunity.
I see. So you are, in fact, just a small group of well-to-do vigilantes, then?
No, my queen.
How would you describe yourselves, then?
I would ask one favour of you, if I may.
Speak it, Brixton.
May we have your permission to do what they're doing and let them do what they are doing, so that we can get that more information that you need?
How long do you think this operation is going to take?
I would say, at the rate they are moving, maybe 6 days. But now they've seen your guards, they might panic. And we don't want them to panic, my queen, as you probably realise.
I see. So you will put them at ease immediately and tell them that I am not interested in digging under the earth to discover their secrets. You'll put them at ease, and you will tell them that you are all free to continue as you will, that I have shown you mercy, that I have believed your stories, yes?
We cannot make you appear stupid, my queen.
No.
Let's put some reality to it.
Indeed. So, perhaps you told me a story about some small amount of treasure, and in fact, I'm intending to tax you for it.
Yes, we had to in the end. We had no choice. You were so
persuasive, of course.
Yes.
Very well. And any of the rest of you, do you have any thoughts on this matter? I'm very curious to hear your ideas. You, the dwarf, the giant dwarf, do you have anything to say? I have forgiven you for your previous transgression, by the way. I was quite amused.
Thank you. It was always my intention to amuse. No, I have nothing further to add. The treasure was never my goal, so I don't care what's done with it.
Very well. And Mr. Lath, you, anything to add?
No, Your Majesty. I am in agreement with Lord Brixton.
Welcome,
Leif looks about half his
man.
height as well. He's like just kind of
All right. Sinking. Very good. All right, and Goodale, anything you would wish to add, or Edrin, anyone?
Only that the giant treasure is of such... the coins are so huge. There was one in my town where I grew up, and it was paraded once a year. And I think, Your Majesty, there's such wealth that potentially you wouldn't know what to do with it all. One coin for the entire elven community.
Very good. Wow. Welcome, raiding party of 7 from the Roland 20s. Wow, awesome. Wow, that's very cool. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to the Vaingate Chronicles. Welcome, Mr. Epic Beast, for following, and all of the other people that have just rapidly followed our channel. Wow, that's remarkable. Remarkable. Very cool. Thank you. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. I haven't seen such a thing before. Cool bananas. All right. So, you guys, what are you going to do? Queen Claresca sits back on her chair and she says, very well then. It seems to me that you are done here, and it is probably time for you to return to the Barakyle envoy and make your way.
We need papers from you.
Papers, she says, turning to her man. Savarant, I should have you get these people what they need before they leave. All right, and so you guys retire out of the throne room.
Russell, I'm very impressed with the Foley work you've done about how the Queen's courtroom was in fact shared by the kitchen.
Yes. There's various kitcheny noises in the background. Apologies there. Okay, so back on track. You guys are taken to yet another room in the my God, my brain.
In the castle?
The castle. It's not a castle.
In
It's
the
a palace. Palace. That's the word. I'm so spun out for a moment there. All right. So you're taken to another room in the palace where Savarand and various other courtesans are sitting about, and they look up as you enter. There's still guards around the sides. You can see windows in the corners and some stained glass and suits of armor and such like, so on. And Savarand brings you over to a table, and he says, "And so, my lords and lady, what in particular would you like me to write on these papers that you wish to return to the Wizards of the Barakyle envoy with?"
The whole taxing idea that your Majesty had.
Yes, very well. And what are the details and particulars? And who am I to address this to? Is there a name I should be addressing this to?
Mr. Zandor Rem.
Zandor Rem. And does he have a title? Lord Zandor Rem. Very good.
You call him foreman of the excavation.
Foreman of the Barakyle envoy excavation. Very well. He writes that down. And anything else I should add here?
No, just the usual fluff.
Usual fluff. All right. All right. He writes up a form for you guys and hands it to you to have a look at. Perhaps you should each make an investigation check just to see what you think of it. If you hand it around among yourselves.
I rolled a natural 1, so I wouldn't even understand the words.
Right.
On the paper.
Wonderful 7.
Wonderful 7. My.
There's a 4, so
I got a 7.
Why are these not coming
I've
up in
looked
my...
at too many tax codes. I've looked at too many taxes.
All right. What did Goodale get for this? Oh, 4.
a 4.
Oh
She's
my.
distracted by the details in the human palace.
All right, fair enough. Okay, and Adric's a 7. Edrin, so you actually get a 20, Edrin, is that right? But it's a dirty 20. All right. Reading it over, you can think of a few places where you might change some of the wording. I'll get you to make an intelligence check.
Isn't that ironic? Our letter writer is the one that gets it.
Right. That is ironic. So for those who have just joined us, we do have another stream each week where Max Easy reads out his letters that he writes to his character's wife, which is our recap session also, all at the same time. It's all very postmodern and reflexive. And so that's kind of fun. So you should hang out and see when that happens. Yeah, so what did you get for that check there? Intelligence check. Oh dear, it was a 6.
Yeah, the intelligence was only a 6.
Okay, and...
Like bang up investigation.
Alright, and I'll get you to roll a charisma check now as well. And this is to see whether or not you can think of better ways to word the document to make it more flowery or otherwise convince or persuade the wizards to believe in the document itself. A huge 11, okay.
11.
Remarkable. Alright, well,
Basic charisma.
you're pretty happy with it. Alright. Seems to be done, and they hand you the papers and say, "Would you like to be taken back to the stables, my lords and lady?"
Yes, I have a small query. I have some letters I would like to post. I was wondering if I could, where I would go to post them. If there was a way to do it here, or whether there was a specific area in the city I would need to go to.
Do you have them addressed, my lord?
I do, actually.
And are they on your person now, sir?
They are. I like to keep them on me in case anything should happen to me, and I hand over. Well, I show all 8. These are to Maria Festenia Montkopf, in the Kingdom of Vanderhold, or District of Vanderhold, to the Stretch. I will obviously pay whatever postage is needed to get it that far.
No, not necessary. Just pass them to me, and I assure you, I will make sure that they arrive directly. I shall send them by messenger.
Thank you very much.
Very well then. I believe our business here is done. You may return to the Barakyle envoy, sir.
Very good. Shall we adjourn back to the place?
I think it's about time.
Yes, my lord.
Well,
All right.
while we're in this room and away from the Queen, I'll just like rub my forehead and try and commune with you know who,
All right.
and see if he has anything to say about the proceedings of what happened.
Very well. As you're rubbing your head and considering and thinking about Tozen, you sense his presence around you. Mistralath, you walk now the halls of power. How do you feel?
Quite nervous?
Yes, that is a good thing, I feel.
This very much is not my place.
Not your place? How so, Mr. Lath? You are here. Evidently it is your place.
I do not belong here. This is human royalty that built this.
Humans. You are of the blood of Corydon Lorathium. These humans are here at the behest of your ancestors.
Yes, sir.
Go quickly, Mr. Lath.
Is there anything else you need from me?
Not of present. Do your work. He
Thank
seems
you,
to have
sir.
vanished. Humans. All right. So, you leave, yeah?
As we're going back, I go, I suppose.
As Leith's hand comes from his forehead, he kind of crumples a bit and goes, I'm so confused. Who are we working for?
Ourselves, Miss Leith. Ourselves.
The Queen, I say very loudly. We are working for the Queen.
And we're working for 3 other men as well.
Mainly the Queen.
So, are we? Who is getting the treasure? I really don't understand.
We are.
I say in Elvish, so long as we get a small little bit, the people we need to get it to, it doesn't matter where the rest goes, does it?
Oh, I walk up to Milford with my hand up.
Oh.
We get it, huh?
We do. We do, and the people we work for do.
So you mean we need to lie?
No. They're all getting what they want. We just not telling them.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's we get a little something for our time and our efforts.
Well, you're all here. I suppose you didn't hear what the Queen and I talked about at all, did you? Any of you?
No, Mr. Brixton.
Thank you.
Are you insinuating something, Milford?
Excellent. That's fine. Come on, let's go.
All right, so you get back in your carriage and you're on your respective horses and return from Ludovar across the palatial district to the Barakyle Envoy. You go through the front gates. Do you talk at all while you're in the carriages? I suppose not too much because some of you are on horseback, yeah?
Yeah.
The second we get in the carriage, I assume there's Leith and Edric in with me, and the second the door closes we get out the gates, I just go, I fucking hate royalty.
I thought it was a bit amusing. That's all. It's all fun.
Too many crazy children out there getting born into the wrong goddamn families.
Speaking of, do you have any idea why a 9-year-old is leading a city? Where are her
Birth. Probably dead. You see the flaw with the system, then?
Oh no, I'm I'm acutely aware of this. All right. How about once all this is over, we destroy the whole thing? Just the monarchy, everything gone. Everywhere, no more monarchy.
That's going to be a little bit hard.
No more gods, no more monarchy, everything. We just do our own thing. No more bullshit. No more bowing and screaming.
You think you can get rid of the gods?
Well, no harm in trying.
There'd be a lot of harm in trying. I wouldn't put it past anyone.
Ah, well. How much more can they take?
I think there might be a lot of harm in trying. The amount of the number of believers in those gods that there are out there.
And in here, and I gesture to Gadale.
Oh, yes.
Present company excluded.
Of course.
That means tears. What have I gotten myself into?
A lot of fun.
Very good. Okay, so you arrive at the Barakyle Envoy, and you go through the gates into the muddy courtyard, and the wizard apprentices come and open the doors to the carriage and step aside for you to get out. Those of you on horseback are approached by stable boys and girls who take the reins of the horses that you have returned with and assist you down from those horses, and your feet touch down in the mud. It's drizzling at the moment, but it's brighter than before because now both the suns Solum Pingal and Ida Solum are both high in the sky now.
Okay, we'll go and see our boss.
Okay.
But time to go see Xandor.
All right. So
Could someone get me a stepladder, please?
Oh boy. Wait a minute.
Just hands under my armpits, just pull me down. It's fine.
No, I don't want to get that close to you.
I had a shower. It's raining. It's fine.
Okay. All right then. Here we go. God, you're heavy.
I'm stocky. Thank you.
Stocky.
I am a wee bit thick.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 C's.
Yeah. Yeah. Should call you Stocky from now on. Yeah.
Well, that's my middle name. Adric Stocky. Fuck that.
Oh, really?
No.
Get going, will you?
He toddles off to Xandor.
all right. You toddle off to Xandor, and you get to Xandor's study, and one of the apprentices opens the door to the study, and you go in, and you see that he's a little visibly still a bit shaken, and he's sitting behind his desk, and he looks up a little bit surprised and paranoid. And you come inside. Oh, it's you, he says. For a moment I thought you were the guards come to take us away. Thank goodness. So you've come back. Congratulations, you're still alive. Well, you've just earned yourselves 500 gold pieces each for the pleasure of going to meet Queen Claraska of Scartabal. I'll have that immediately brought up to your rooms. What else did you manage to pull off? Anything?
Just one moment. I'm going to amend the group chat. Stardust, Sam. Adric is just short, but he's not fat or smelly. He's actually quite lean. Anyway, moving on.
That's true. In fact, according to Michael Bates, we had a bit of a chat about what does Adric look like, and if you imagine David Tennant, in what show do you think?
I have no idea what show that was. I just typed in David Tennant beard.
Okay, so David Tennant with a beard.
What was it called? Scripted or something like that. That was the show that he and Michael Sheen did during lockdown.
Okay.
In the UK, yeah.
Right.
Where they both grew COVID beards.
Right. So there you go. That is an image of Adric for you. David Tennant with a beard.
Well,
all right.
Mr. Xandor, we have some very good news and some somewhat annoying news, but mostly good.
Well, what do you mean by annoying news? That doesn't sound bad. It doesn't. We're not being dragged off to our deaths this afternoon, then, are we? We're not going to the gallows.
No,
just
all right. So
apologies.
Very well. What's the story then?
Information about what we had and how much we've done was quite thorough. So, she is aware of gold. We managed to downplay just how much. She's expecting a tax, but she can only tax what she knows about.
Right. Okay.
Beyond that, we should be safe to continue.
All right. Well, that's really good news. I'm really impressed. Very well done. The five of you seem to be a rather impressive motley lot. I'm very pleased. That's going to certainly garner you something of a bonus for what you've done here today. So allow me to make contact with my superiors and explain and outline what you've achieved with this. Certainly, it was not your fault that the Queen Claraska's guards came upon us this morning, so you can hardly be at fault for that. And all you've really done is improve the situation for us. So I'll go about seeing what kind of rewards I can find for you. And in the meantime, perhaps you can think about what our next steps should be. I'm currently thinking about how I have a lot of work to do back at the Isle of Barkyle, and I might not be here for too long. So if you want to consider what sort of things we should do next so that I can take some time to plan my journey.
Hey, well, be that as it is. First, how much time are you imagining we'll be A, be here, and B, after that, my associates and I, we have no next employment. So potentially, if you were looking for more guards on your boats, I'm sure we'd all quite welcome the opportunity, sir.
All right. Well, I'll consider that. I'll mention that too in my correspondences with Bar Kyle. I've been promised that my tenancy here should be almost over, so I'm looking forward to going home. This is supposed to be my last stretch, and I'm very pleased to say I've only got a few more weeks here, which I'm hoping to cut a little bit shorter, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, yes, I think maybe now that the Queen, Her Majesty, is aware of our operation, perhaps we might be able to milk this project a little longer. Maybe we can take this on indefinitely now that we know that she knows, and if as long as she's getting her taxes, then maybe we can do this indefinitely. What do you think about that?
See why not. The Drow did promise us that. Oh, promise is a strong word. They said under duress that there were pockets about the treasure down there. But how much can you really trust them?
Right. Well,
it does certainly mean that this operation can a little bit more, shall we say, above board.
Yes, I suppose it does mean that. It can be a bit more above board if we're simply paying tax, but we, as your friend here, Adric, pointed out, she can only really tax us for what she knows about. So I think the point being from here on in is to make sure that she knows about some of it, and that we make sure to deliver the appropriate amount, that she's satisfied.
That sounds entirely reasonable to me. Tax evasion's fun after all.
Yes, well, that's not really the point of the operation, really, from our point of view. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. It's just that's a matter of course. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Adric, my friend, I'm only here doing what I've been told to do, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not extraordinarily comfortable with it. So I'm looking forward to getting out of this situation myself. I don't feel like I'm living a particularly safe life. I didn't sign up for working right under the nose of the Queen's Guard here in Vaingate. It's not my sort of interest in life. I prefer to study ancient texts and ruins and relics and things. That's sort of what interests me in life. And, so you see, I'd prefer that we can be as above board as possible, but I also understand that we must appease our masters, and each of us has our respective masters. I mean, even your friend Drazael, who you are all associated with, except for you, Goodale, of course. Yeah, I mean, he's getting a little slice of this. I mean, he's getting a finder's fee for having found your friends here. So, Goodale, I'm curious, actually, at this point, because you're a member of the Daughters of Twilight, and are they aware that you are here? You're actually on mute there.
Beg your pardon. I have sent notice to them last night that they should be aware of my whereabouts at this time.
Oh, you did? You sent notice, did you? Oh, well, all right then. I see. So does that mean that they'll be looking for you here?
Oh, only should they have need of me.
I see. All right. So they know that you're here at the Envoy.
Yes, for the time being.
I see.
I believe in the letter at the time I had written it, I had believed we would be adventuring today. So they won't be expecting me to be here at this very moment.
I see. So they're not expecting you to be here right now. They think you're probably under the city right now. Do they know about that?
Oh, I didn't actually mention we were under the city, just that I'd met up with an interesting lot of characters, and I felt that it was important that I stayed with them for the time being.
I see. And they're quite happy to just let you go about doing whatever business you feel like. Should have signed up as a cleric, shouldn't I? Clearly, I've taken the wrong job here.
It's a very good life.
I see it is. Well, that's very impressive. I should probably have looked into that. Maybe when I return to Barakyle, I'll hand in my tenure and return to Vaingate and become a cleric.
I can recommend you a gentleman to see even.
Well, do they take men at the Daughters of Twilight? I'm curious. I thought they only accepted
yes, they
elven
do.
women.
They do for certain things, yes.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe that's possible.
I have also been an acolyte of the Daughters quite recently, and I can attest to their very open door policies.
I see. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, perhaps that can be something I can think about in my advanced age when I've finished with my career here amongst these lot, you know. Being a adventurer and a bit of a scallywag, it feels right now. I'm not too impressed with my current situation. Anyway, so if you have any thoughts about how you might be able to extricate me from this frankly god-awful business of digging under the city for other people's power and wealth, do speak forward.
Are you safe, Mr. Rem?
Am I safe? Is one ever safe, really?
It depends on what scale you're looking at, really. But I think we'd speak on a material more than anything else. How safe do you feel?
He looks around the room and he says, well, probably not safe enough to discuss this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's just that we like you.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. Brixton. I'm quite fond of you too, to be honest. You fellows have done a great job of doing what I've asked you to do, and if it hadn't been for you, we'd be in deep hot water right now. I don't think we've got anybody here among the envoy that could have persuaded Queen Claresca of Scartabel not to shut us down immediately and have the lot of us thrown in jail or worse, have our heads cut off. Quite likely that could have happened. It's hard to say. She's a very young lady, I understand. Is that the situation?
She's very young, but very clever.
She's 9 years old.
But she's very clever, isn't she?
Indeed. Occasionally it happens that one so young is possessed with wisdom beyond her years, and perhaps she also has some good advisors.
Well, perhaps that's true. Yes, I can't speak for that. I don't know the young lady myself. Never met her. I pretty much avoided her at all costs, to be honest with you. I suspect my head wouldn't stay on its shoulders for long if I was to come into contact with that young lady. And she's not very fond of the Wizards of Barakyle by all accounts. So, yeah. What can I say? Anyhow, I'm going to let you go and do your things. As I say, I'd appreciate it if you could come up with a plan for moving forward, at least for what you and your team are going to do. And I'd like to hear back about that as soon as you've got some thoughts. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, then.
Yes.
Very well, then. Thank you very much. And if you don't bump furniture on the way out the door, be good. Yeah, try not to knock that out. Don't touch that. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
This? Okay, so tell me, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. All right, just leave it there. All right, and you guys leave.
Yep.
Very good. And someone's mage hand closes the door behind you and locks it. You hear it lock. All right, what do you guys do now? Do you head back to your barracks?
Shall we all go back to my lodging and we'll discuss our next steps?
Okay.
All right. So you go back to your lodgings. You head back into Adric's room.
What are you trying to see?
I could just use some air, that's all.
That's it. That's what.
I better have a look.
You have a bit of a look around.
Yes.
Check about
Crack
the
open
place.
the window while he's doing so.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
I think we need to have a word, Milford.
Oh, well, I can't find anything. Yeah. Couldn't find it if I paid myself.
You should be making an investigation check.
Ah, that's right. Sorry.
And
Barry playing with probability.
and you shouldn't be making checks at all unless I call for them. Ha!
Do you want one or not?
I do now.
Yes, my queen.
Once I open the window, I'm going to look as well.
All right. So everybody can make, anybody who wants to.
8.
All right.
20.
All right.
17.
11.
All right. So you know that little statue that you keep throwing out the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back. That little figurine is back.
Do you mind if I have a quick look at that? And I just want to use my I don't know if I can apply it to this, but I want to use my mason's tools, like my proficiency in understanding of stone, to understand what material it's made of.
Okay, you can make a nature check for that.
Can do. Would you just like me to add my proficiency to that?
Yeah, if you've got a yeah, you can do that.
That turns a terrible 8 to an okay 10.
To an okay 10. It appears to be of a granite structure. There's nothing particularly special about the substance other than it is stone.
Huh. Oh, this is mighty fine. Oh, my buttered fingers out the window.
Must have been the.
Again?
That's the not butter, my friend. That was bacon grease.
Oh my! I thought I ate that, and I thought she'd cleaned my fingers. I just got the last thing it hears as it tumbles into the void.
Wow. All right, it tumbles.
I think we might need to find a more permanent way to get rid of those, as they keep seeming to pop back up.
I did consider eating it, but I've already done the giant thing once today, and I might need it. Actually, I could have crushed it with my hammer.
I was about to say, I think next time we should smash it with something that might get rid of the granite.
We always take it for granted that we hindsight and all that.
Take it for granted.
Shut up. It was an inspired joke. It was an inspired joke when it was coming out. I just felt flat.
Well, we're quite sure it's always the same one, though. Maybe perhaps they have 20 of them.
I don't know whether it's the same one or 20. I think that's a good idea.
Maybe next time we put a mark on the bottom of it, and if it comes back with the same mark, then.
Do you think they get like a bulk buy these figurines with their stationary order?
Could be.
They must do. I mean, or we could destroy it, and then if they have a new one, then it also kind of tells us whether they've got more.
Leaf, did you want to talk to me or something?
Well, yes, Milford. What's all this with you being a lord?
I think that actually makes him a prince.
I am the bastard son of a royal prince.
Oh.
Unfortunately, people like me are looked for and killed by the present king of our people.
So we should be watching our backs then.
Well, I should be watching mine, but they won't be harming you because they don't know who I am.
I see.
They don't know I'm alive.
Do they know that you existed at all?
I've I've had a few adventures that might suggest they might know that I exist, but they don't know where I am. And they don't know that I'm this.
Can I imagine a parent killing their child?
That your this is this not your original appearance?
No.
Are you able to show us what you look like?
No, it's better that you don't know.
Oh, I see.
The little you know of me, the better.
Well, I at this juncture, Milford, I feel I hardly know you, even though we've worked together so much.
Just treat me like you know me do. I'm just a thief. I'm just a thief and a rogue.
I'll smack his ass. And a bastard too. That changes nothing.
That's right. I'm a bastard.
Alright, well, anything else we need to move on to now that we've dealt with Mr. Brexton's care sire?
Did anyone find Zendorem quite cagey this evening?
I found him really quite the opposite. He was very nervous, but grateful and open, I thought anyway.
Yes. And you thought I was a rogue. Gotta be careful of people like him. They look sweet, but they might not be. Though I do like him, I'll admit that. I like him.
Oh, he's looking for a way out. There's every chance we could. Oh, Mr. M, would you like a way? I would like a way out of this terrible, terrible life to live in the hills somewhere with.
Yes,
And study his runes and such forth.
that's right.
Well, he would probably need to go into hiding after
Oh,
betraying.
of course. Oh, of course, he would have to.
And I'm sure that daughters could offer him refuge.
What kind of procedure is it to alter your appearance permanently? Is it something that's easily done, or?
It is for me.
Oh, I see.
I've been doing it for...
Permanently, Barry?
Permanently is a lot more difficult.
I mean, I think
So Zandor is no longer Zandor, so he's more like a Randor Zem, if you catch my meaning.
Oh, now that would take time. You need some, I would imagine, some magical help.
Hey, I imagine we've some clever people here that can do a thing or two.
I'm not sure I'm quite capable of that.
Well, what's the worst that could happen?
Don't talk to me about magic.
Name it.
We could straddle his face.
But he'd be unrecognizable.
He could also be dead.
Then and his problems. This is getting us nowhere. Yes, I understand that.
So we.
Dig sites.
So how? Yes. How? To what degree are we involving Rem in this?
Well.
To what degree do we trust him?
Well, I almost think that he's given up on this job, and as much as he wants out, maybe we could take over.
Take over what?
His role, and
the
running of the dig.
They wouldn't let us do that.
Too much red tape.
No.
Hang yourself before it's done.
Yeah.
Oh.
They want control of that dig. They don't want people like us running it. That's why they got their own doing it.
Well, if Mr. Rem says that he trusts us to run it,
won't work.
Are you willing to stay here with the young queen peering over your shoulder at every moment, as well as wizards in a distant land? No. Aye.
Well,
no, thank
this is true.
Amir sneering at you.
Well, I was just thinking about maybe sitting it out for the medium term and then escaping with the boat in a longer term than doing it right now.
Well, now we might have time to go down there. Remember, the boat's not the only plan we got.
Oh yes, but I do think that the more we get, the longer we wait, the more we'll get.
Well, that works sort of.
However, if we suddenly go missing after the Barakyle envoy finished here and the Queen takes what she wants, if we, 5 lowly contractors, disappear, that's fine. If 5 foremen of the excavation suddenly disappear after the end of the excavation with a bigger portion of gold than we would have if we weren't foremen, the Barakyle envoy might put 2 and 2 together and start coming after us. Yes, because the higher-ups don't necessarily know about us. They will, but they'll know we're doing good work, and if we happen to disappear, we happen to disappear.
Oh, you're
if
very
we
right,
disappear...
Mr. Monkoff. Yes, that could look very suspicious.
One lowly boat
Although it's...
vanishes and sinks in the river. It's not a problem. It's annoying to the Barakyle, but it's not a real problem. 5 boats vanish with everything. Terrible.
Yes, you're both quite right. So,
low profile, I think we should keep it as much as possible.
Okay, yes.
I think so. I think we'd be lucky to get 1 boat, let alone 5.
Mr. Brixton, I do have one query. Following the execution of this plan in the best case scenario, if everything went to we get the treasure, we bugger off, would you at any point be coming speaking to the Drow several times, and they have information for me for my quest, so to speak, that leads me down to their city. Now it may just be a goose chase, but it's the only lead I have. So one way or another, I imagine I'll be absconding with one of the Drow with me. I'd be grateful for the help, of course.
Well, I certainly think that would probably keep us out of immediate observation by the powers that.
Guards after our escape, giving them money to the triumvirate we owe, getting back into the Underdark the exact same way we entered would be very difficult. So we do need to find a second access point into the Underdark that isn't anywhere near the palatial district.
So we better learn as much as we can when we're there.
Yes. Well, how did you get into the Underdark? Because it wasn't by our way, I assume.
Well, sadly, I believe I was under the influence of one of my fits, and I must have wandered away from my temple. So
right.
I don't actually remember how I came to be.
Okay. But at least we know that there is a second way.
Indeed.
So that's at least a good starting point.
What you, out of game, what you do know is that when you first saw the spiders, the first 3 spiders that went through the massive chamber that you were in before you got to the ship, right? The first major chamber that you came upon, there was on the right-hand side a huge wall that had a massive hole in it, where the spiders came out from it on the right-hand side. You came in from the bottom. And the spiders came in through that wall, and then they went up to the north end of the chamber, coming in from the east side. So you were in the south. From the east they came in, and they exited out through the north. You followed them out through the north, but you never looked through that east side. So you don't know where they came from. You never looked beyond that point. None of you guys. I mean, and Goodale, you weren't really present for that anyway. You were kind of asleep, or otherwise under the influence of divinity, shall we say.
As I say, we should look around more.
Well, it looks like we've managed to buy ourselves the time if need be.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what now? Sure. I mean, it's still fairly early. 10 in, or shall we go have a look-ski downstairs, so to speak?
Well, I feel fine.
Indeed, let's go have an explore. Perhaps there's a library or such forth that we can go looking for information in.
Well, the Temple of the Daughters of Twilight has a library. The Barakyle Envoy also has a library, although whether or not you will have access to that is another story. And there are various libraries in the city. The Temple of Moradin even has a library. So yeah, there's a number of libraries in the city belonging to various factions, people, and individuals that some of you more or less know about.
I don't think they'll let us out, though, will they?
The Barakyle library might be the best bet, because they'll likely have prepared some tomes towards what we're looking for. Potentially.
Although they might have
I could go back to the Daughters of Twilight's library and read up there and see if I can find anything out.
Well, out of game too, Goodale, being a Daughter of Twilight, probably has more reach in that capacity.
Perhaps we should go together.
Yes, of course.
I didn't think you were able to leave this place.
Well, I'm sure we could ask for a day pass just to go and get more information now that the cat's out of the bag, so to speak.
Oh yeah, could be right.
And Xandor did say we should do some preparation and make a plan, so this is all part of that.
Can you guys make a perception check, please?
Can do. Nat 20 plus 2.
Same, net 20 plus 2 there.
Net 20 plus 2. Oh,
30,
right.
23.
Wow, you guys are rocking it. Okay, then it must be very obvious. There's a blackbird at the window, and it has a thing tied around its leg, and it's tapping on the window.
Oh, I open the door. I open the window.
The blackbird
and I
kind of
untie the thing.
looks at you and lets you do that. Hops on one leg for a moment.
Thank you, little
Do
thing.
you bring the bird in, or do you just leave it on the window?
I leave it on the window.
It flies away.
Thank goodness. And I read it aloud, I suppose.
All right. It says, send news, Hazeldrill.
Send news from Hazeldrill. And he wants some news.
Out of context, out of a think for a second. Hazeldrill is the
Elf.
The elf.
The rich one.
Rich elf hangs out at the Nag's Head, drinks a lot of wine.
Right, he is the
Kind of a
that's the
mob,
word I'm looking for.
mob boss type.
Not to be confused with Drizael, who is the dwarf at the house where you met this motley crew.
It's not quite the word I'm looking for, but I guess he's an opponent of Drizel's.
Yes, that's right. That's right. They were somewhat antagonistic towards one another.
Right.
Yeah, they're not enemies exactly, but they certainly have some beef that you have discovered. You're not sure what the nature of that beef is, but at one point I believe someone was wondering whether it had something to do with one of the... Was it a... Wait.
Yeah, Hazeldrill's niece or
That's
something.
right, Hazeldrill's niece.
I don't know how we got there.
Well, I don't know why this is here. I've only met Hazeldrill once.
Mr. Brixton and Mr. Lapp, at least, we're in the employ of specifically the three Hazeldrill, Drizel, Glass. Should I write something, or do you think we should go talk to him in person?
Well, if we're leaving, it may as well just pay to go and report back. I can also wrap into our reasoning to go. I have to go and get more information.
Also, how many days has it been since we started the job?
I would think it's about 3 days, unless somebody has any more specific information.
I think, from my calculations, he says nerdily, we're either 3 or 2 days left.
Okay. Because it was 6 days they gave us.
3 or 2, I think. That was 6. Oh, yes, it was 7 when Brixton overheard them, and then we started doing stuff on the 6th. Yeah, so it's either I think either yesterday was the 3rd, or I wrote this down thinking that today will be the 3rd.
Yeah, I think you've got 3 days left according to the original timetable, but that's kind of shifted now, so I'm going to say it's been 3 days.
Okay.
So is this another employer of yours?
The plot thickens.
In a way, yes.
See.
We have 3.
So what will you do? Will you go see him, or will you write him a letter?
I think, as Mr. Fogdar said, it'd be a good excuse to get out, and I could always do with another bottle of wine, considering that little...
Well, I
had to give it to us, so...
I think that maybe he's being a little bit pushy. He gave us 6 days. He should wait those 6 days until we're able to deliver something.
I think it would just like an update.
These criminal types are a bit pushy. They're all about profit, and if you can deliver that expediently, they're happier. But if not, then people start losing fingers.
Leaf, I'm not sure. I just want to make sure, Leaf, that you remember that you still have the usability of that clairvoyance potion.
Oh.
Just in general, I don't know what it specifically does.
Steve had completely forgotten about that, so I don't think I even noted it on my character sheet.
Lucky you've got Edrin to keep track of this stuff.
Because Hamir brought it up when he was all like, you should be taking that, and I was like, okay, we'll just give it to Leaf. And then when we got to the end, and Hamir was like, you guys have got shit, I was like, oh, here it is, and I just gave him a healing potion.
Yep.
Yeah. So you should be all good to, in case we need to use that later on.
Yep. Okay, it's added.
Just like that, Hamir. Yes, I actually like the idea that I think someone mentioned before, which was somehow incriminate Mr. Fogdar. Not Fogdar, Mr. Hamir. Mr. Fogdar suggested incriminating Mr. Hamir.
I have done no such thing. He's incriminated himself. All I did was report dutifully to Mr. Zandor.
That's a good point, and I think if he gets himself caught up with these wizards and the Queen knows about it, then he'll face a pretty good justice according to his crimes.
I certainly don't disagree with that. And Leith has this like very, very sneaky kind of grin on his face.
And Milford is just nodding his head back and forth.
Nodding or shaking?
Shaking his head back and forth.
Mm.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry, guys. I got Homir and Hazel's all confused. All these H names. Imagine I've said nothing because that was of no value.
Damn it! I was pinning the entire future of the story on that.
It was one thread that has unwoven the sweater of story that you were woven.
Okay, so maybe we should talk it out as what the plan is for the characters.
Yeah.
So Goodale's heading to the library, is she, to see if she can find a map of or any information at all pertaining to the
sewers, the Underdark, right? Okay, very well. And Leith, I believe, is going with you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The more people looking, the better.
So
go to the Daughters of Twilight Library.
Leith and Goodale.
Goodale really does not want to go hang out at the Nag's Head.
Right. Okay. Next is who else is doing what? What's Brixton going to do during this little outing?
Oh, it's wet, isn't it?
It is wet.
Okay, I'll wait till it's dry and I'll check out this window and see if I can leave through this window in Thingy's bedroom.
Adric's bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just check out this window.
We could just leave.
Time. But I'll go to the Nag's Head.
I mean, like, we just have to say we're going to go report to Drizel about how things are going.
We can just say we think we're entitled to a drink.
Yeah, that'll be that.
We got a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, and well, Xandor's very ingratiated to us right now, so.
Yeah.
Assumedly so.
Okay.
And,
I'm torn between staying at the library and torn between using the Barakal envoy and going out for a drink.
follow your heart. Follow
Studies
your liver.
or
What does
drink.
it tell you?
Follow your liver.
What does it tell you? What could be worse than getting drunk with Adric?
I could think of a lot of things worse.
You
Being
make
used by a dragon
A
is-
very good point. You make
Imagine
a very
the
good point, Mr.
shenanigans.
Fogdar. You make a very good point, Mr. Fogdar, and I turn up my my coat's collar and I say, I think we should just go off to the Nag's Head.
Right, let's go.
I hope you have some good toasts.
A few. Mr. Brixton, Nag's Head, and then, well, potentially, what if we went to have a look at the sewers? See your lady friend with the spiders.
Oh, you don't want to see her. You better hope she doesn't see you. She's not friendly.
Warning taken.
She's a, well, what was the name for her now? Well, let's say she's being punished by a goddess, and that gives her a pissed off kind of attitude. And there's lots of spiders down there.
I can sympathize. I can sympathize with that.
Can Adric, can you make an intelligence history check, please?
Intelligence history, hell yeah. That is a 16.
16. When he said that she's being punished by her goddess, and he's talking about spiders, it occurs to you that the Drow have this tradition of sending their matriarchs to visit with their goddess in the demon web pits, and they meet their goddess, and if they are not found to be good enough, if they are found wanting, they are punished and transformed into driders. And that, you suspect, is what Milford is talking about.
So, Mr. Brixton, this lady in the, if we can indeed call her that still, if my reasoning is correct, how did you come into contact with her?
Oh, that's a long, long story.
One we can enjoy over a drink, huh?
I think we can. I think we can. But should we not report too?
Well, report, do the whole, everything's going grand, we're going to get so much gold, and then we get fucked, then we get on it. Fucked up.
Okay, let's go then.
Go for a little crawl, I think they call it.
Hey, so much to celebrate. What's the worst that could happen?
And
Are you sure you don't want to go out with the boys? It sounds like they're planning a rather...
No, you take him with you now.
Well,
You take him with you.
No offense.
He's way
I'm
too
not-
young for this and he doesn't drink. You
I'm
know.
not much of a drinker, but
No,
the
he's
company
really not.
is good.
Milford literally turns them around and sends them off with you.
Let me just get into my drinking clothes, and he starts rifling around for his chainmail.
Uh-oh. Oh dear, that sends a scary
This
portent.
totally feels like I've been sent off to bed with mum while dad and the uncles go for a piss out.
Oh no.
Oh, and that's what they used to do to me as a kid too.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right, Steve. We'll just go hang out in the library.
Yeah, where the cool kids are.
Nothing's stopping you from drinking communion wine.
Indeed.
Oh, just a little sip.
And let's face it, it's the closest you're going to be going out with a girl at all. Yeah. So I'm just trying to help him, you know.
All right, so, and that I think is where we should end our stream tonight, with Goodale and Leith on their way to the Temple of the Daughters of Twilight, Edrin, Adric, and Milford off to the Nag's Head, and T. Earl Grey Hot asked to make a request. What request would you like to make, T. Earl Grey Hot? You can certainly ask. I'm not sure if we can fulfill, but you can ask. Sometime, somewhere, can Giant Mode Adric please stomp on something or someone?
Well, if the mood strikes,
The opportunity.
But if the opportunity strikes, Adric doesn't like to crush helpless, weak, faceless ones. But if he gets inebriated and he becomes large and just so happens to sit and or step on someone, shit happens.
Right.
A Hemir, perhaps?
I can't wait for drunk Edric to just go big and start bench pressing actual benches full of people.
Walking through, hey, oh, it's a good night. Whiskey, oh, it just went right to my head. Through the roof. Oh!
You can just open a keg and just down it.
You know what, guys? I'm actually terrified of the next game now. I'm actually scared.
Hey, you've got a dwarf and a chronic alcoholic. You should
Oh
really...
dear. Oh dear. What have I done?
You have a
What
depressed,
have I done?
reverend dwarf and an alcoholic wizard. What's going to happen?
You have a depressed dwarf and a depressed wizard.
Right.
And Milford Brixton.
Well,
And Milford Brixton.
the good news is
Every party. Every
That will
party.
get you two into so much trouble.
well, given that I've got a pretty,
And I'm going to the library.
I've got a pretty
I
clear
think we're gonna
idea.
end up dealing them out or something.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like you two just gonna be sitting on a vestment, looking out over the city, just enjoying your books, and then you'll see the Nag's Head just fucking explode.
In the distance.
You'll see a fist fly out in the distance, and this keg just fucking launch.
I think the city might burn down in the distance. The whole of Karkanos catches fire, then the Droob. The fire crosses across the river over the three bridges, catches on Rivertown, burns Raxtharsis, burns all the way down to Grenaldea. That's the end of Muldrea.
For us to steal everything.
Yeah,
One
that's
way to
your
put it.
guys' cue to just rush back.
And we're about to cause the great fire in Vaingate.
Right, the great fire of Vaingate.
God.
I know.
Except it wasn't kicked over by like a cow. It was kicked over by Edric.
Yeah. Goodale and I are the decoys. We're like the alibi. So if they question us, we're like, we were at the Daughters of Twilight the whole time. We were being studious.
Right. And what were you studying? Oh, look, how to break into things. Very good. All right, well,
I can't divulge that information.
we might leave the stream there, guys. So thank you, everyone, for coming along. Thank you to the new visitors and the new followers that we have. We've picked up, I think, if I just check here, I think we've picked up a whole 6 new followers this evening. And at least one subscription, I think, from somewhere, if I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, it might have been, yeah, one of our earliest viewers, actually, I think subscribed. He's been watching for a couple of months now. And his name is Holy Knight of the Keyboard, I think. I think that's his name. It's something very similar to that, if not exactly that. He was watching the first time I streamed with Barry. It was just the 2 of us, and that was a while ago. And he donated money to the charity that we were raising money for at the time. And it really encouraged us to keep going and keep moving forward with this whole thing. Because at that point, you know, I mean, as you can see, we're still having technical difficulties, but oh my, have we come a long way. So, 4 more subs. Holy moly. Wow. That's amazing. All right, well, yeah, again, thank you, everyone, and I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for watching. We will be back next Thursday, but before next Thursday, we'll be back with a Edrin Montcoff Letters to Maria, and as many of us as can gather together will come to watch and listen to that. So, yeah, that'll be awesome. Thanks again, and good night.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Good night.